Hurricane Floyd. An earthquake in Taiwan as powerful as the one that devastated Turkey in the middle of the night. The United States is getting involved in a South American civil war again because of the market for heroin and cocaine here. We'll take a closer look. And we'll go to the only place in the country that we know of where they are racing in reverse.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Good evening and welcome to a special Northwest edition of World News Tonight here on Channel 2. On the other side of the country, the story is still too much water, too many rivers, too many hogs, so many people without power. Such a surprise in many ways. The story this Monday of North Carolina, the state that really paid for Hurricane Floyd. 1,500 people are still stranded because, among other things, 295 roads are closed. This in the eastern part of the state alone. Thousands of people are still in shelters. More than 30 have died as a result of the storm. 47,000 still have no power. 33,000 no phone. Take a look at a map which just shows the rivers, the Neuse, the Tar, the Swamp Creek, the Kashai, the Lumber, Cape Fear. Hundreds of millions of gallons pouring down from the Appalachians, drowning towns as they go. The president was there today. TV doesn't do it justice, he said. Our first reporter is from ABC's Rebecca Chase.
Day 5, and water is still everywhere. 23 counties, hundreds of miles of roads, still impassable. The Greenville airport is completely flooded. Planes up to their wings in water. Entire communities remain cut off. Military helicopters continue to search for those in need of help. The losses are enormous. Fields, factories, and even Main Street in Tarboro, all flooded.
We've been in business 59 years.
And now you've lost everything?
Everything, that's right.
Today, President Clinton flew over the flooded areas and offered federal help for what is now considered the worst disaster ever in North Carolina.
It crossed the 500-year floodplain level. That's what kind of storm we've had, folks. And that's why nobody was really fully prepared, though we've done a lot.
6,000 people are still in shelters, signing up for disaster aid, picking through donated clothes. So many left with hardly anything.
One change of clothes, that's all we had time to get.
Even family pets were left behind. In the nearby town of Princeville, the water is still 15 feet high. Princeville is the oldest town in the U.S. chartered by blacks. It also may be the hardest hit. There was little warning last week when the earthen dam here broke. Today, the Coast Guard was still searching Princeville, looking for bodies, but only rooftops are visible. The town is a total loss. Carolyn Whitehead says she and her 6 children were rescued by a helicopter just in time.
We walked in water about this high, came to my neck. And we had to carry my niece out, and I don't know how we got her out. We just had to hold her up. And my sons, they was falling in the ditch, and it was real bad.
Power stations and water plants are underwater, and the forecast is for rain. Rebecca Chase, ABC News, Princeville, North Carolina.
Across eastern North Carolina today, there's a terrible stench in the air. It is hog waste. Millions of gallons of it overflowing from many of the state's gigantic hog waste pits. North Carolina raises millions of hogs, and thanks to the hurricane, this is an environmental disaster. ABC's Aaron Hayes is in New Bern.
This is now some of the filthiest floodwater ever seen in this country. In the mix, millions of gallons of concentrated hog manure, clearly visible, washed out of massive holding lagoons. Hundreds dot the North Carolina landscape, and many are now flushing their contents downriver.
Those were untreated fecal waste. Frequently this involves E. coli, Cryptosporidium, Giardia, and other very common contaminants, which can cause very serious illness.
This is an environmental nightmare. It's a disaster.
Rick Dove monitors a local river for a national environmental group. He's warned officials for years this might happen.
Our forefathers called this a floodplain for a reason. It floods. Putting all of this waste right in the coastal plain of North Carolina doesn't make any sense.
Until recently, there was little regulation of the giant hog industry here. Home over the past decade to factory-style hog operations that cram thousands of pigs into single buildings, each producing the waste equivalent of a small-town sewer plant. The hog operations have long been controversial here. Even before this flooding, many were major polluters, leaking waste into the rivers. Now, it is a deluge.
It is enormous, yes. When many of those operations were built, there was weak regulation, and we're now paying the price for that.
One more worry, dead hogs. Tens of thousands of them are washing downriver. Worried about disease, state officials are shipping in portable incinerators to clear out the carcasses. And to keep more hogs from dying, they have diverted helicopters to ferry farmers in to feed their hogs, keep them alive until the rivers go down. It is overwhelming, and the polluted water is now seeping into the groundwater, officials say, threatening 2/3 of the drinking water supply here. Yet another problem they will face when the floodwaters finally recede. Aaron Hayes, ABC News, New Bern, North Carolina.
The fear of more rain for North Carolina exists because Tropical Storm Harvey, which is in the Gulf of Mexico tonight, is on its way. And in the Gulf tonight, a Carnival cruise ship carrying 1,700 people with one of its engines disabled is trying to limp out of Harvey's way. The Coast Guard said if there were 7 or 8 people, they would have sent a helicopter. But with 1,700, you just hope they get out of the way. Overseas, the most powerful earthquake in a century has just occurred in Taiwan today. Its center is in the county of Nantou, about 90 miles southwest of the capital, Taipei. Geologists say if the epicenter had been in the capital, the city would have been leveled. It's bad enough. Here's ABC's Bob Jamieson.
The earthquake hit just before 2 a.m. when most of Taiwan's 22 million residents were sleeping. Tens of thousands ran into the streets, most still in pajamas or underwear. The U.S. Geological Survey estimated it was even stronger than the earthquake in Turkey last month and was followed by a half-dozen aftershocks. The bottom 3 floors of a hotel collapsed, leaving the badly damaged top listing to one side. Idaho Governor Dirk Kempthorne was asleep on the 25th floor of another hotel.
You just began to feel a vibration. It then built into a swaying, and then it became absolutely violent to the point that you had a few thoughts that maybe you were finished.
Governor Kempthorne and other members of a trade delegation staying at his hotel were not hurt. But across Taipei, a city of 2.6 million, rescue workers began to pull residents from collapsed homes and buildings. Geological Survey officials expect more damage because the earthquake was so strong, and they've issued tsunami or tidal wave warnings for other Asian islands, including Japan. Bob Jamieson, ABC News, New York.
In Asia tonight, an Australian-led United Nations peacekeeping force is getting its feet on the ground in East Timor. They are there to stop the killing. Many people say they're rather late for that, and presumably enable East Timor to pursue its independence. It was a referendum in favor of independence that angered the Indonesian army that started all this recent violence. ABC's Mink Lee is in the capital, Dili.
In just 24 hours, they have taken control of the airport and the harbor. And for this first day, at least, they have brought peace to this place.
We'll be able to get out and about and to start expanding our area of operations in the near future.
There was still smoke over the city soon after the troops arrived. One last spasm of violence, apparently, by the pro-government militias that have terrorized East Timor for so long. Today, although the peacekeepers disarmed an occasional gunman, the militias seem to have either disarmed or disappeared. As for the Indonesian army, which ruled East Timor for a quarter century, about 1,000 of its soldiers were evacuated today. Among the local civilian population, thousands of people loyal to the army, some of them wearing the red and white of the Indonesian flag, were at the harbor today, hoping for a way out, afraid to stay here now that the army is no longer in charge. The rest of the population is either dead or on the run. Some 200,000 people are living in the hills, scavenging for food.
The first hours have gone smoothly, and that could be deceptive, according to one peacekeeping official here. There are some pro-Indonesian militiamen out there, he said, and they want to keep on fighting. Right now, they're biding their time, sizing us up. Mike Lee, ABC News, Dili, East Timor.
It was early this morning when we learned that Raisa Gorbachev, the wife of the Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev, had lost her battle against leukemia. Mrs. Gorbachev was 67 and she died in a German hospital. She was the most public first lady in Soviet history. Raisa Gorbachev was articulate, intelligent, and very fashion conscious, the kind of thing that many Russians who had so little resented. She and her husband, the Soviet leader, had been inseparable for most of their adult lives. They met in college. She was his intellectual equal and an important advisor. Raisa, the former professor of Marxist philosophy, Mikhail Gorbachev, who wanted to change the Soviet Union but wasn't daring enough. He is described tonight as devastated. When we come back, some of the day's other news, the worst scandal the Los Angeles Police Department has had since Rodney King, and racing in reverse.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings, brought to you by Advil Liquid Gels.
That meeting is going to start whether I get rid of this headache or not. So I took something stronger, something faster. I took Advil Liquid Gels. They're stronger and faster on tough pain than extra-strength Tylenol. It makes sense that they are. Liquid Gels are the only pain reliever with liquid inside. Nobody else has that. Nobody. So when you want something that's faster on tough headaches than Tylenol, take Advil Liquid Gels. Pain relief that's stronger and faster.
Hey, this isn't my Accord.
No, but it's a great night for a Century test drive.
What about our Moonlit Drive?
Let's flip a coin. Okay, I'll take shotgun.
So, what do you think?
It's kind of stuffy in here.
Well, then, Brendy, you'll appreciate the dual climate control, standard traction control, ABS.
No, Accord doesn't have that.
And Accord LX also doesn't have a wife as delicate as a flower.
What?
It doesn't have standard V6 power. What I said there. And now there's never been a better time to zero in on a Buick. With 0% APR GMAC financing or $1,500 cash back on Century.
Isn't this romantic?
It reminds me of your honeymoon.
We ate Quaker oatmeal for 30 days, and it helped both of us lower our cholesterol 17 points. You'd think we want to eat something different after 30 days of oatmeal. But you know what they say.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Quaker oatmeal warms your heart and soul.
It's time. Time for your heartburn to kick in because your heartburn relief gave out. It happens 2 or more days a week, even though you've treated it and changed your diet. That frequent, persistent heartburn may be due to acid reflux disease, potentially serious.
It's Prilosec time. Time to see your doctor about prescription Prilosec. Your results may vary, but for many people, Prilosec provides 24 hours of complete heartburn relief with 1 daily dose. Ask your doctor for more information about Prilosec and if it's right for you. The most common side effects are headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain. 24 hours of complete heartburn relief is possible. It's Prilosec time.
In a Texas courtroom today, a jury has found a second white supremacist guilty in the killing of James Byrd, the black man dragged behind a truck until he died. Lawrence Brewer had testified in tears that he was an innocent passenger in the truck. He will learn tomorrow if he'll join his former roommate, John King, on death row. The final defendant in the grisly killing goes on trial next month. Los Angeles is reeling today from a police scandal which the mayor says is disgusting and has thousands of other people wondering where it will end. ABC's Judy Muller tonight on What's Going On.
It's the worst police scandal in L.A. in years, and today, for the first time, the mayor expressed his outrage.
It is unfortunate, disappointing, and disgusting that any police officer would violate the laws he or she is sworn to uphold.
So far, a dozen officers have been suspended for allegations of beating, shooting, and framing suspects.
I think we have a small number of officers that have chose to, in some instances, tarnish their badge, and I think they will be investigated and dealt with.
It all began when a former officer who'd been convicted of stealing cocaine from the evidence room made a plea bargain in which he revealed a much more serious crime. He alleged that he and a partner shot an unarmed, handcuffed gang member in the head at point-blank range and then framed him by planting a rifle near his body. Javier Ovando was paralyzed, confined to a wheelchair, and convicted of assault on an officer.
It never occurred to me that police officers would shoot somebody, frame him, commit perjury at his trial, and then watch him get sentenced to state prison.
Ovando has been released from prison where he was serving a 23-year sentence. Similar allegations have been made against other officers in the Rampart Division's Crash Unit, an elite force charged with policing one of the city's most violent neighborhoods.
The Rampart Crash officers have just taken upon themselves to, for lack of a better word, fight fire with fire. And I think it's getting out of hand.
The scandal has prompted calls for greater civilian oversight of the police department. Hundreds of arrests and convictions are now suspect and could be overturned, and the lawsuits are sure to follow. Judy Muller, ABC News, Los Angeles.
On the money tonight, Microsoft confirms a story in the New York Times last week that it secretly paid for newspaper ads in which various academics said the government's antitrust case against Microsoft was hurting consumers. One academic said he wouldn't have participated if he'd known that Microsoft was paying. The government says it's concerned about a Swiss bank's plan to offer individual bank accounts on the internet. The bank says it will maintain the confidentiality that Swiss banks have been famous for. The U.S. government thinks it's an easier way for people to move funds overseas to avoid taxes. On Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was up more than 20 points today to close at 10,823. On the NASDAQ, stocks were up 16.5 points. When we come back, the United States wades into a civil war in the name of stopping illegal drugs. We'll take a closer look.
I'm not really close to Anna Kournikova. First of all, there's that whole language thing.
A PE ratio is price divided by earnings. Earnings per share is a company's net income minus preferred dividends.
It's like she's speaking a different language.
Can anyone say asset allocation? Mid cap, small cap.
When we created a smarter kind of investment firm,
growth fund,
we created a smarter kind of investor.
Besides, some of the other players are kind of jealous of her, you know, portfolio.
Tylenol House Call. Information for healthy living.
Watching Wayne Gretzky, you'd never know the great one could have common arthritis.
When my doctor told me that my aches and pains could be the early signs of arthritis, I was really surprised.
It's not unusual. Millions of Americans under 50 have arthritis. Millions more are at risk. What should you look for? Risk factors include an active occupation, past injury, family history, age, and weight. Early signs of common arthritis include joint pain and stiffness.
Well, what do you do for your arthritis pain?
I take Tylenol.
The first choice of doctors for arthritis pain is the medicine and Tylenol Arthritis Extended Relief. Tylenol works as well as the leading arthritis prescription, but it's much gentler on your stomach. So Wayne, how does it feel to be retired?
Pretty good. These days it's fun to be knocked around.
Could your pain and stiffness be the early signs of common arthritis? Talk to your doctor, like Wayne Gretzky did.
Tylenol House Call is brought to you by Tylenol Arthritis.
If you had to be stranded on a deserted island with just one other person, who would it be? A boat builder? Or a survival expert? Perhaps a fisherman? Or would it just be someone who looks really good in a swimsuit? Introducing the all-new 2000 Mitsubishi Eclipse, nicely equipped at $17,700. There are more sensible choices, but who cares?
We're going to take a closer look tonight at a new battlefield in what the government refers to as the drug war. Actually, it's an old battlefield where the U.S. has struggled against the cocaine and heroin producers before. Remember Colombia in South America? The Clinton administration says that 80% of the cocaine and 70% of the heroin, which authorities managed to seize in the U.S., is being produced in Colombia. At the United Nations today, the president of Colombia asked for a couple of $1 billion for the campaign against drug production and the anti-government forces, which are the drug trade's guardians and beneficiaries. And so once again, in South America, the U.S. is heavily invested financially, militarily, politically. ABC's Deborah Amos has just been there.
Deep in the Colombian jungle, another cocaine lab is destroyed. Drugs destined for the U.S. market burned. It makes for great pictures, and so does this. The U.S. is spending $166 million for Colombian police planes and armed helicopters that protect them as they spray coca and poppy fields. More than 100,000 acres have been sprayed. But it's a losing battle.
In the last 2 years, we've seen this explosion in coca production.
Despite the effort, cocaine production has doubled since 1997. Colombia is now a top producer of heroin. The aerial campaign has only driven growers to plant new, more potent varieties in places that are harder to reach. One reason for the explosion in the drug trade here is because drug traffickers have a new partner, anti-government guerrillas. It's a deal that's made the guerrillas very rich. It has allowed them to become better armed than the Colombian military and police. This guerrilla army now controls a region where 30% of the land is under coca cultivation. Their strength is a challenge to the Colombian government.
You could see also this link between drugs and guerrillas. The guerrilla lives of taking care of the plantation, taxes. They have a lot of money at this moment to buy arms.
What you need is some sort of military protection for the police who attempt to do law enforcement in isolated areas where the guerrillas are strong.
Which is why the U.S. military is here again. U.S. Navy SEALs give hands-on training to Colombian Marines. The U.S. is spending $20 million to train and equip this new anti-narcotics battalion in the Colombian Army. $60 million goes for intelligence on traffickers and on guerrillas, which is now shared with the Colombian military.
We, the Colombians, have to separate these insurgent forces from the hundreds of millions of dollars they get from producing and transporting illegal drugs.
But so far, by the administration's own admission, the U.S. is losing the war in the coca fields and against the traffickers, too. The question is, what's next? Deborah Amos, ABC News, Bogota, Colombia.
So what is next? In Colombia, there's hardly any distinction between the war against drugs and the war between the government and its opponents. Should the United States be involved in a civil war in South America? We'll take a look at that tomorrow. When we come back this evening, gentlemen, start your engines.
Thanks for making a leave. For almost 5 years, I had a hard time walking. I went from doctor to doctor and even had surgery on both knees. Pain relievers like Tylenol quit after a few hours and the pain came back. Finally, a doctor suggested a leave. Within a week, I was dancing all night like I hadn't done in years.
Aleve can stop pain all day with just 2 pills. It would take 8 Tylenol to do that.
Now people say I'm a walking advertisement for Aleve.
All day strong, all day long.
Why do I have Aflac insurance on top of my regular health insurance? Because he has his mother's eyes. Because I still have to teach him to whistle. And because Aflac helps cover what other insurance doesn't. If I'm injured, Aflac even provides cash to help pay bills. So why do I have Aflac? Did I mention he has his mother's eyes? Aflac supplemental insurance. Without it, no insurance is complete.
What's so great about nasal crom? Look at me. I'm not sneezing, but I'm not drowsy. I'm not stuffy, but I'm not jittery. I've never been not miserable in allergy season before. Nasal crom's incredible. Unlike these, it can't make you drowsy. And unlike these, there's no possibility of nervousness or dizziness. It's the only allergy medicine that goes right to the source and flat out prevents allergy symptoms. Nasal crom. The best way to stop suffering is never to start.
I'm gonna raise you. Fold. Too rich for me. Not fold.
Call. A couple of things to remember. 1, a full house always means 3 of a kind. And 2, the new Chevy Silverado has the most powerful V8 of any pickup. Chevy Silverado. It's the truck.
Shut up.
Where will you be when your grandson gets his first taste of the ocean? When man walks on Mars? When your children want to discover their heritage? Life is filled with moments you don't want to miss. That's why if you have high cholesterol and heart disease, you should know about Zocor. Zocor is proven to help save lives by reducing the risk of a heart attack. So where will you be tomorrow? That could depend on what you do today. When diet and exercise aren't enough, talk to your doctor about adding Zocor. Zocor is a prescription medication and is not right for everyone, including women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant, or people with liver problems. Your doctor may do blood tests to check for liver problems, because serious side effects can result. Tell your doctor about any muscle pain or weakness you experience while on Zocor, and about any medicines you are taking. For more information, talk to your doctor or call. Zocor, it's your future. Be there.
Every day, their property is invaded, vandalized, violated.
About 1,000. 1,000 illegal immigrants? Yes. On your property? On my property, yes.
The government can't handle it, and ranchers are arming themselves against the tide of illegal immigrants.
The only protection there's going to be is if we protect ourselves.
On 2020 tonight.
Finally, this evening we go to Wisconsin, full speed behind. ABC's Dean Reynolds suggested that we think about this the next time we were backing out of the garage.
You have to admit it, there's something a little odd going on at Speedway 151. Yes, they're all racing in reverse.
Is it dangerous? No, it's not dangerous at all.
Fearless Rick Burden competes here at this track near Madison each week along with 8 or 9 of his buddies. They can reach speeds of 60 miles an hour doing this. Visit the pit area and you wonder how these jalopies can move at all.
This one is going backwards tonight?
Yes. They've been reverse racing here since 1983 and brag that this is the only place in the country where it's done.
Purrs like a kitten.
While the drivers have a certain affection for their vehicles, loving maintenance, this is not. Bruce Havel, the only one who looks over his left shoulder when backing up, is the reigning champ. His strategy is simplicity itself.
Put it in reverse, look over your shoulder, and go.
There's a lot at stake here. Besides knowing you're the world champion backwards driver, there's a trophy and top prize money of $30.
Every Friday night, their fans are there.
Oh, I think they're nuts.
Nevertheless, after some last-minute fussing, the men buckle up and they're off. Sort of.
And we have a traffic jam at the start.
Because the drivers are craning their necks to see, the race can last only 10 laps. Any longer, and they get a little woozy. Bruce Havel backed in first on this night and is still the champion.
How about a hand for Bruce Havel? What more can a guy ask for?
For the backwards boys, it doesn't get any better than this. Dean Reynolds, ABC News, Columbus, Wisconsin.
Thank you for watching this special edition of World News Tonight on Channel 2. 2020 is next, followed by Channel 2 News at 11. I'm Peter Jennings. We hope the rest of the evening is good. Until tomorrow. Good night.
Europe's most coveted design award. Now, honored as the highest quality luxury sedan in America, the Volvo S80. My goodness.
I'll give you the horn. My romance doesn't have to
$60 limited edition set, a $77 value, is now available at Meyer and Frank.
This is more than a bad headache.
It could be a migraine. 1 out of 6 American women suffers from migraine. Symptoms include intense headaches, accompanied by either nausea or sensitivity to light or sound, or headaches associated with your menstrual cycle. Today, your doctor has medicines that break through migraine pain without drowsiness. Call your doctor today, before that pain comes back. Find out if your headaches are migraines, and learn about today's effective migraine medicines.
Natalie, Charlie, and Diane, mornings on the Power of 2000.
Mrs. Kennedy.
Absolutely not.
He was shackled, charged, and publicly accused of murder. But is dental evidence reliable?
Oh, sure. Sure.
bite marks are not positive. There's too many variables.
Tom Jarrell and a controversial crime-solving technique. Could it be sending innocent men to death row? Marks of a killer.
And look what's going on along the border. U.S. citizens arming themselves, patrolling their property for illegal immigrants. Elderly women carrying guns. Her house burglarized a dozen times.
Truth to tell, Mrs. Murray, I mean, if they'd kept coming at you, what would you have done?
Probably shot. Scores of Mexicans hungry and desperate.
You got a group coming over.
The Border Patrol can't keep up, so ranchers are rounding them up on their own.
Some nights it might be 2 or 3, other nights it might be 200 or 300.
It's a dangerous game.
Are you vigilantes?
Chief Correspondent Chris Wallace with the tense human drama unfolding at the U.S.-Mexican border. Crossing the line.
Plus, tipping. It was supposed to be for good service, but now it's just expected. And it adds billions to our tab. The waiter, the cabbie, 15%, 20%, and don't even think of not leaving a tip.
If you want to dance, you got to pay the band.
What secrets do these people know to make you leave a bigger tip? Bill Ritter with the nitty-gritty on gratuities. The tip-off on tips.
Those stories tonight, September 20th, 1999.
What I was trying to do here was capture the hopelessness of modern life. There's no vases, no fruit, it's just quiet. It's permanent, but yet expansive. It's the same here as it is from here. In fact, it's me.
You ran out of paint and the art store wouldn't take a check again, right?
Right.
Consider the Visa check card instead of checks, or cash. It's fast, easy, and accepted everywhere Visa is, so you can get what you need.
What I was trying to do here...
And get on with life.
Capture the...
Only Colgate Total is approved to help prevent plaque and gingivitis while fighting cavities, tartar buildup, and bad breath. And it does it for 12 hours. Looks like there's just one choice from where I'm sitting. Colgate Total. It's toothpaste, only better.
Tonight, we had the perfect meal for us. The Olive Garden's never-ending pasta bowl. You pick any of the special pastas, and you get all the free refills you want, plus all the salad and breadsticks for $6.95. Good thing I was born hungry. The Olive Garden. When you're here, you're family.
Introducing a radically new SUV, the new Nissan Xterra. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
From ABC News in New York, Connie Chung and Jack Ford.
Good evening. Jack and I are so happy you could be with us here on 2020 Monday. When it comes to crime solving, there have been great scientific advances this century. Fingerprints and DNA identification are just two methods that have slammed the jail doors on some cold-blooded killers. But our first story tonight is about a horrible murder and a controversial scientific technique used to help solve this crime, the analysis of bite marks.
You may not have known it, but many killers leave bite marks on the bodies of their victims, and that was the case in this murder. For more than 40 years now, bite mark analysis has been allowed as evidence in court, but just how reliable is it? As Tom Jarrell shows us, it's a question that would shatter a life and haunt a family torn between catching a killer and wondering whether that killer was one of their own.
I came back from my morning walk at about 11 o'clock.
What it looks like preliminarily is some 29 stab wounds.
On the answering machine was my sister's words, which I'll never get out of my head, saying something terrible has happened.
It appears that there may have been some bludgeoning to the head area.
I called the Walpole Police Department looking for my sister Nancy, and she said Mom was murdered this morning.
The savage murder of Catherine Kennedy Burke's mother took place on a cold morning last December 1st, when 75-year-old Irene Kennedy and her husband Thomas left their home in a Boston suburb and traveled 6 miles to the sleepy town of Walpole, Massachusetts. The Kennedys liked to walk in the early morning hours in Francis William Byrd Park. And just as they'd done countless times in the past, they entered the park, walked a short distance together, and then split up to finish their morning routine. But on this day, in a remote section of the woods, Irene Kennedy was brutally attacked and murdered.
This man came up from behind her, surprised her. Her neck was snapped. Almost at the same time, she was stabbed in her eye and also her skull.
This was a absolutely horrendous murder, one of the most gruesome murders in Massachusetts history.
Jeffrey Dinner is a prominent Boston defense attorney.
She was essentially eviscerated. She was left mostly naked. She was clubbed. Her face was almost unrecognizable. There were bite marks over her body.
And it was those bite marks on Irene Kennedy's body that would link this man to one of the most notorious murders in recent memory. Edmund Burke was a 48-year-old unemployed handyman who lived with his mother in a house right next to Francis William Byrd Park. And his story isn't just another murder story about guilt or innocence. It's a story about how law enforcement officials often rely on bite mark evidence to identify a killer and get their man, sometimes with tragic results. Each year, there are hundreds of cases of murder and rape where the assailants viciously bite their victims, providing critical clues for the police. Dr. Richard Souveron is one of about 100 licensed forensic dentists who specialize in bite mark evidence.
I get involved with clinically measuring the bite, making a drawing of the bite, trying to document which marks were made by upper teeth, which marks were made by lower teeth. Try and get a dental profile of the biter.
Once a dental profile is put together, Souveron then makes a mold of a suspect's teeth to compare with the bite marks. Photos like these are taken, and a careful analysis is made to see if there's a match. Dr. Lowell Levine of New York State is also a leading authority on bite mark evidence. He would play a pivotal role in the Edmund Burke investigation.
The bite mark evidence needs to be weighed along with everything else. Same as weighing fingerprint evidence, the same as weighing DNA evidence. So it really means that the police and prosecutors have to look at the totality of the case.
And in the case of Edmund Burke, the bite mark evidence would be a critical factor in helping police make their case. And arrest a man, they said, was a cold-blooded killer. The case began on that December morning when Irene Kennedy's body was first discovered. It was 9 a.m., and teams of local and state police rushed to the crime scene. Crime lab experts began to examine the body, and police sniffer dogs were brought in, hopefully to track the killer. The dogs picked up a scent almost immediately and led the police through the woods, across an open field, and finally out of the park. Their wandering trail eventually led them to a house filled with cats, Edmund Burke's house.
They came looking for me around 11 o'clock in the morning, and he said something happened to Mrs. Kennedy. They didn't tell me any details of the case. They were just asking me, like, vague questions.
For Catherine Kennedy Burke, the fact that Edmund Burke was a suspect in the murder was doubly painful. He was her brother-in-law, and she had known the handyman most of her life.
Why do you suppose they would consider him a suspect?
He's eccentric. Yes, I would say that. He's reclusive. But I have never seen anything in the 32 years I've known him that would indicate to me that he could possibly do this to my mother.
But the police didn't see it that way at all. What they found when they arrived at Search Edmund Burke's house was the scene of an unconventional lifestyle that reinforced their suspicions that he just might be the killer. There was garbage everywhere, broken down cars parked in his driveway, lawnmowers and bicycles scattered around the backyard. His house was falling apart, windows were broken, the paint was peeling off the walls. His yard was completely overgrown, and there was more.
They found blood on clothing. They found dead cats in a freezer. They found a lot of cats running around. They found a state of disarray that really surprised them, that made them feel that somehow Ed was different.
The police zeroed in on him. By 1 o'clock on the afternoon of the murder, Edmund Burke was being questioned here at the Walpole police station. But they needed more than circumstantial evidence. He was asked to give blood and saliva samples, as well as fingerprints and palm prints. Search warrants were issued, Detectives began looking for a murder weapon, and patrol cars began watching Burke's house day and night. But it wasn't until the morning of December 3rd, 2 days after the murder, that the police began focusing on those bite marks, looking for evidence that they thought would nail Edmund Burke.
The first thing that he said that kind of took me aback was, "How are your teeth?" And I was sitting there going, geez, I'm kind of depressed about the shape of my teeth, and I thought that was kind of curious.
That afternoon, Edmund Burke was taken once again to the Walpole police station, where dental impressions like these were made of his teeth. The police wanted to see if they had a match to the bite marks the killer had left on Irene Kennedy's body. He gave the evidence, photos like these, to Dr. Lowell Levine for his opinion. After careful review, he told police that with reasonable scientific certainty, the bite marks were indeed made by Edmund Burke. And while Dr. Levine declined to discuss specifics of the Burke case, he did explain what reasonable scientific certainty means.
There's no real wonderful definition of it that I've seen. And I've heard people talk about everything from 90 to 100%.
Reasonable scientific certainty from someone with your credentials, though, would carry a lot of weight, or one of your colleagues.
Oh, sure. Oh, sure. To arrive at something like that, you would probably want to see combinations of unusual characteristics.
There is a positive comparison, positive match between...
Law enforcement officials felt they had all the proof they needed that Dr. Levine had, without any doubt, linked Edmund Burke to the murder of Irene Kennedy. The district attorney was issued an arrest warrant.
He told me that there was a positive match, according to a world-renowned expert, Lowell Levine, who had done other cases like Ted Bundy's.
What did you think? Did your heart sink? That sounds pretty conclusive.
My heart did sink.
For the police, in the media, did that seem to be the crowning blow of guilt?
Oh, I think it clearly was. The district attorney at the time made a lot of statements saying that this produced an incredibly strong case and it gave them the power to arrest Mr. Burke, which they did.
With guns drawn and swarms of cameras and reporters at his front door, the police moved in. It was December 10th, just 10 days after Irene Kennedy's mutilated body was found in the park.
They took me out of the house, and there was, I guess, 200 or 300 people lined up and down the street cheering and clapping. And
how did it make you feel being paraded in front of all these people on television?
I was pretty much in shock at that point. The slander and defamation that was occurring on the news media and everything. When they came in and arrested me, I was pretty much just kind of in a state of numbness.
But did the police have the real killer? And was that bite mark evidence really accurate? On Friday, December 11th, Edmund Burke was taken here to the Rentham County Courthouse, where he was officially charged with the murder of Irene Kennedy.
The bite marks in the left breast of the victim in this case were caused to a reasonable degree of scientific certainty by the defendant.
I felt like sinking through the floor in court with video cameras, and I'm being accused of this horrific crime. I think the phrase they used was 100% sure it was my bite mark, and I'm there, you know, like, yeah, you know, how can this be? How can this be? I mean, this can't be happening. This can't be happening.
Teeth marks have implicated Edmund Burke in a gruesome murder, but just how will this forensic evidence hold up under closer scrutiny? More on the bizarre case when we return.
Teeth marks on the body, chilling evidence left by a killer, and one expert said he fit the mold.
It's a nightmare, it's hell, I wanted to be dead.
Did forensic dentistry help solve a crime or trap an innocent man? When 2020 continues.
28 different children from 28 different families with 28 different futures, whose parents all share the need for help making informed decisions on what matters most: their health, their finances, their future. One name, Aetna, for what matters most.
At Nokia, we've discovered our phones are a lot like pets. They somehow seem to resemble their owners. Nokia
know, running your own business is not as glamorous as you think. It takes sacrifice, discipline. If you don't deliver, someone else will.
Okay, can we go now?
Sure. Self-employment, the next big thing from Mitchell Lee. LS, the next big thing from Saturn. More room, better performance, really dependable.
Can you believe this hair color is 33 days old? No kidding. No touch-ups. It's new Superior Preference from L'Oreal. The color I love just got better. Only Superior Preference has continual color and conditioning. The first fade-resistant color that stays continually true. And now with weekly conditioning treatments right in the box. For soft, shiny, superior color. From the day I color to the day I color. 33 days and counting. New Superior Preference from L'Oreal Paris. Because I'm worth it.
On ABC Premiere Week Tuesday, the season premiere of Spin City.
I am so sorry I'm late.
Mike meets his match when Heather Locklear arrives.
This is not some cheesy soap opera.
Ooh, that hurt.
We have a score to settle.
Plus a really angry Yankee All-Star Roger Clemens. Then the return of the mid-season smash.
Finally.
It's like, you know. And on the season premiere of Dharma and Greg, Greg is gone. And he's been replaced by, this guy.
Hey, look at me. I'm an attorney. I'm an attorney.
Not for long.
See you Tuesday starting at 8/7 Central on ABC Premiere Tuesday.
We've seen how expert analysis of bite marks led police to accuse Edmund Burke of the vicious murder of 75-year-old Irene Kennedy. Police assumed that they had all the forensic evidence they needed to close the case. But as you'll see, they were in for a surprise. Again, Tom Jarrell.
After Edmund Burke's arraignment for the murder of Irene Kennedy, he was taken here to the Norfolk County Jail, where he was ordered held without bail. His life was falling apart.
In the beginning, I thought that just to be under suspicion for a murder as disgusting, as heinous as what happened to Mrs. Kennedy, just to be linked to it, I thought was the worst thing in the world. And then, you know, things just got worse and worse and worse.
First, his home was declared a fire hazard, and his elderly and ill mother, Annette, was ordered to move into a hotel while the authorities carted off piles of junk that littered his property. Then, most of his cats were taken and put up for adoption. And in the newspapers, a relentless drumbeat of his guilt, based on the bite mark evidence. For Catherine Kennedy Burke and the rest of her family, there was a funeral and an aching pain that continued to grow.
To have your mother murdered the way my mother was murdered is absolutely horrible. To have a brother-in-law charged 10 days later, it was like having our heads in a vice that turned tighter and tighter every day.
But was the bite mark evidence that led to Edmund Burke's arrest as clear-cut as the police maintained? It seems that experts, right from the beginning, had privately disagreed about the certainty of the evidence, especially those bite marks. Police reports obtained by 2020 show that at first the forensic dentist for the state of Massachusetts couldn't find a match. That's when Dr. Lowell Levine, remember one of the nation's leading experts, was brought in. And according to defense attorney Jeffrey Denner, who was now representing Edmund Burke, Dr. Levine also couldn't tell initially, but then seemed certain.
When did it change?
About December 9th, the 9th and the 10th, he received additional photos. And then at that point, he said, it's Ed Burke. There's a match.
You think he made a mistake that put an innocent man deeper in jail and further in trouble?
Oh, there's no question he made a mistake.
So could Dr. Levine, with all of his experience, have made a mistake? According to Dr. Richard Souveron, mistakes in cases like Edmund Burke's happen all too often because the science of bite mark evidence, unlike fingerprints, DNA, or blood samples, is not exact. So, according to Souveron, bite marks should only be used to eliminate and never identify suspects.
Bite marks are not positive. There are too many variables: skin, distortion, other people with teeth similar that could leave a bite mark pattern on skin that you can't tell the difference between suspect A and suspect B. Their teeth are so close.
Dr. Lowell Levine disagrees. He believes that bite marks, like the evidence that sent Edmund Burke to jail, analyzed under the right conditions by the right people, can help law enforcement identify a killer.
Can bite mark evidence result in someone being sent to jail and, in fact, being sent to prison and convicted?
Oh, sure. Sure.
Can that be done on wrong information?
Well, once
Wrongly
again,
interpreted.
it could be. Sure, it could be.
It's not absolute as a...
As what?
As a science.
Nothing is absolute. It's all opinion.
And as we've shown, it was Dr. Levine's reasonable scientific certainty opinion that local law enforcement officials chose distress over other experts who were less certain, leaving Edmund Burke in the hot seat of suspicion.
Did the thought, they're going to send me to prison for something I didn't do,
Well,
ring in your head at that time?
Well, I mean, all along you think, I mean, I had nothing to do with this. I'm in handcuffs and manacles and waist chain and stuff. It's a nightmare. It's hell. I wanted to be dead.
But the case against Edmund Burke began to fall apart just a week after his arrest. On December 18th, the state released the results of DNA testing that had compared saliva samples taken from Edmund Burke and those swabbed directly from the bite marks on Irene Kennedy's body. And according to documents obtained by 2020, the DNA didn't match.
Do you know how he reacted when they said DNA doesn't match?
He reacted very calmly. He said, I know that. That doesn't surprise me at all. It couldn't be my DNA because we all know I wasn't there.
She was very active, very active.
But there was no relief for Catherine Kennedy Burke after the DNA tests were made public, because law enforcement officials refused to acknowledge that their bite mark evidence had fingered the wrong man.
When the results of the DNA evidence came back totally excluding Ed Burke, I expected the whole world to call me and my husband. I expected the Walpole police to exonerate him and free him, none of which happened.
Did they come to you and say, we've made a mistake?
No.
You're a free man. We're going to let you go. We've made a mistake here.
No.
Then in mid-January, a month after the DNA tests were made public, yet another scientific test finally brought the state's case to its knees. A bloody palm print had been found on Irene Kennedy's thigh, and a crime lab comparison, once again, couldn't make a match to Edmund Burke. The state's case fell apart.
Present state of the evidence is such that the Commonwealth's not going to proceed with this case at this time.
On the afternoon of January 20th, 41 days after he was arrested, Edmund Burke walked out of prison a free man. The science of bite mark evidence which had jailed him had been repudiated by two other types of more credible scientific evidence which had cleared him. And Edmund Burke is not alone. 2020 has tracked down dozens of cases where law enforcement officials relied on bite mark evidence to arrest and even convict the wrong man.
It hurt so bad to be blamed.
Two examples, Ricky Allen Amolsch, who spent almost a year behind bars accused of murdering his girlfriend.
I would have rather been executed.
And Greg Wilhoit, who spent 4.5 years on death row, convicted of murdering his wife. In both of these cases, just as in Edmund Burke's, the bite mark evidence was ultimately thrown out of court as insufficient.
When they finally released you, they left the stigma of a suspect.
Oh, yeah.
You live under that still.
Oh, yeah. When I first came back, you know, kids were driving by going, you know, in the daytime it was murderer, and then at night it was die, kill, or die.
Perhaps there are people in the community, not your immediate neighbors, who will say, we still think he did it. Which raises the question I must ask. Did you kill Mrs. Kennedy?
Absolutely not. If I lived to a million years, lived to be a million years old, I don't even think I could come to understand why somebody would do something like that, let alone do it.
Today, no one wants to talk about the Edmund Burke case. Dr. Levine, remember, declined to take any questions about the bite mark evidence, which was the backbone of the state's case.
Do you still stand by your findings in the Burke case?
Well, you don't know what my findings are, and I really can't comment on it.
Did police use your findings correctly?
I have no idea.
They say their arrest was based on the marks that were left by the teeth marks in that victim of that case. Did they make an arrest based on marks that you identified?
I can't tell you. You're going to have to ask them.
We tried, but neither the police nor the prosecutors in Walpole would agree to be interviewed. So the murder of Irene Kennedy remains unsolved.
Today, no one is behind bars, and there's still a killer on the loose. That killer may be in Walpole, that killer may be in another part of the country. And how dare the police department and the media give the community a false sense of security.
And like so many other cases involving the science of bite mark evidence, Edmund Burke's life has been left in shambles. He's been branded a killer. He's lost most of his worldly possessions and most of his beloved cats. And he's lost his mother, who was evicted from their home and died on June 1st. Now there's only the hope that someday his good name will be cleared.
Everything's destroyed now. And I went into the police thinking I was helping out, and then got caught in a meat grinder. I mean, you couldn't imagine a worse series of circumstances occurring.
Once again, we tried to talk to the police, the district attorney, and the forensic expert for the state of Massachusetts about this case, but all of them refused our request. And as for the accuracy of bite mark analysis, it continues to be one of the more controversial of the forensic sciences. Some experts say even the best bite mark evidence can never be absolutely certain.
An explosive situation in a small American border town. Men are packing guns, so are elderly women, defending their homes against these nightly intruders. Illegal immigrants by the hundreds. Are they looking for trouble or a better life? Chief Correspondent Chris Wallace watching neighbors crossing the line when 2020 returns.
A lot of people have allergies. I have multi-symptom nasal allergies. It's the sneezing, itchy, runny nose, the nasal congestion. It's all of it. I told my doctor, I've had it. I want an allergy medicine made for my kind of allergies. He prescribed multi-symptom Flonase.
Flonase nasal spray once a day relieves all nasal allergy symptoms all day and night.
All it takes is Flonase.
The #1 prescribed nasal allergy spray. Even kids as young as 4 can use Flonase. For best results, use daily. If side effects occur, they are generally mild and may include headache, nosebleed, or sore throat. Call to learn more. Ask your doctor about multi-symptom Flonase.
When you get it all it takes is Flonase.
This spray can make more of a difference than you ever imagined.
Mommy, don't have to pick on Matt and Jennifer. They're still sick.
It can help make a difference in how many school days your kids miss this cold season. Just do what pediatricians do in their own homes. Zap those hot spots and kill the cold bug with Lysol disinfectant spray. It kills 99.9% of germs in seconds. Night and day, Lysol spray helps protect. You have our word on it.
It's color and texture that create an overall design scheme. I've always believed that form should follow function. Introducing EA Kids by Ethan Allen. It's the comforter really that ties the whole room together. There's a sale on now.
Come on, guys, let's build this thing.
How long do you think it's gonna take? Hey, Mr. Murphy, have you ever done this before?
No problem. If I had an engineering degree, but they don't need to know that, or that the V8 Splash they love is actually good for them because it's got 100% of vitamins A and C. Besides, they should be learning other stuff, like how to ask for things that come pre-assembled.
V8 Splash Fruit Juice Drink. To health, happiness, and harmony.
Once and Again is being called the best show of the new season.
I don't think the world was constructed for 40-year-olds to date.
They're single parents trying dating once and again.
You make me feel.
Seal Award, Billy Campbell.
Tell me I'm making a terrible mistake. You're making a terrible mistake.
If you have room for only one addition to your weekly favorites,
you're so beautiful.
Pick ABC's Once and Again, premiering Tuesday, 10/9 Central.
They come by the hundreds, sneaking across the border and private property. But wait till they meet the welcome wagon in this American town.
If I've got a gun, by golly, then that's where we're stopping, right there.
Then, a nice gesture. Now it's expected. Why are we held hostage by tips? Find out when 2020 continues. After this from our ABC stations.
ABC Sunday. 2 David Kelly shows. 1 great premiere night. First, Snoops. Gina Gershon and Paula Marshall star in the new series critics say will be huge. Then The Practice, winner of 4 Emmys, including Best Drama 2 years running, is back.
You're going down for murder now. You get that? I didn't kill her.
Have dinner with me, Eleanor.
Catch Snoops series premiere followed by The Practice season premiere. ABC Sunday starting at 9/8 Central.
The death toll is now at least 400 in the earthquake in Taiwan. The search is on for victims and survivors.
Also tonight, the disturbing death of a Kelso girl. Police say she was abused by her father's girlfriend. Good evening, I'm Kathy Marshall.
And I'm John Marler. We'll have those stories, plus the Rob Marciano wedding album on Channel 2 News at 11.
People, they come in all different shapes and sizes. And what's right for one isn't always right for another. That's why U.S. West offers Custom Choice, an innovative phone package that lets you choose from 17 features, including your phone line, for just $29.95 a month. So get the phone service that's just right for you. U.S. West. Life's better here. And now all Custom Choice customers can get unlimited internet service for just $12.95 a month.
Bill gave this to me as a birthday present.
Fire's my life. I fought them. I investigated them.
Hey guys, this is the drill. Come on down.
I'm sick and tired of getting toy fire trucks for Christmas.
I'm Bill Freeze. I'm a fire safety specialist with Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Every 78 seconds, a home catches fire. So the more we research, the safer we can help you make your home. The more lives we save.
At Liberty Mutual, we have hundreds of experts helping you live a safer, more secure life. It's insurance in action.
Did I mention my sprinkler head collection?
Next, Rosie. Spin City's Michael J. Fox, the Goo Goo Dolls, plus Elmo. Next, Rosie.
Tomorrow at 4 on The Power of 2000. Wake up with Steve Dunn and Natalie Marmion on Channel 2 News this morning.
So what would you do if intruders broke into your home not once, but over and over again? Well, that's exactly what's happening to some residents in the small border town of Douglas, Arizona. And they blame illegal immigrants. Tens of thousands of them stream across the border from Mexico to Douglas every month. They're looking for a better life. But what residents of Douglas want is some security. Many have taken up arms because they say the Border Patrol just isn't doing the job. And there have been some armed confrontations between migrants and ranchers. Chief Correspondent Chris Wallace went to Douglas to check out a situation that seems to grow more tense by the moment.
Teresa Murray's family has lived on a ranch near the Mexican border since before Arizona became a state. But now her home looks like a small prison, fenced in with razor wire, steel bars on the windows. And at age 81, Murray sleeps with a gun by her bed.
Mrs. Murray, do you think you really need all of this protection?
Yes, I do. I really do.
She's protecting herself from illegal immigrants, who she says have burglarized her home a dozen times in the last 2 years, stealing thousands of dollars worth of property. They killed her 2 guard dogs by feeding them ground glass.
What has this done to your life?
It made an old lady out of me. They have taken my health, destroyed my property, robbed me. What am I going to do?
Sleepy Douglas, Arizona, population 15,000, is suddenly ground zero in the invasion of America. Illegal immigrants are flooding across the border, more than 100 in this group.
Okay, I got them running up here.
In just one recent month, the Border Patrol rounded up 27,000 immigrants. That's more than the town's population, and double the number the year before.
Near west, you got a group coming over. They're starting to move north, west side of the tubes.
Even with sophisticated surveillance equipment, the Border Patrol can't keep up. Local authorities say for every illegal who's caught, another one gets away. Like these people, scrambled over the border fence in the middle of the night. So many are coming that they are cutting trails across local ranches, like this one owned by Larry Brazier. We went up with him to a lookout point on his roof to watch for any intruders.
Oh, my gosh.
Within minutes, we saw a line of immigrants walking across his ranch in broad daylight.
You can see about 12 of them in a group. I got to ask you, how does that make you feel, seeing a dozen people walking across your property?
Well, the first thing comes to mind, I wonder if they're going to tear my fence down when they come across.
He has reason to worry. Besides tearing down fences, migrants are slaughtering cows for food. And when they're thirsty, wasting thousands of gallons of precious water by cutting pipes. Their hiding places look like landfills, and cattle die from eating the trash.
God, it's a garbage dump, isn't it?
Oh, it is. It's just terrible. It's just all kinds of clothes, blankets.
But what's different about Douglas is that here, the ranchers are fighting back. Roger Barnett is taking the law into his own hands by making citizens' arrests. Packing a pistol and an M16 automatic rifle, he holds migrants until the Border Patrol comes to take them back to Mexico. If it sounds like overkill, listen to how many people Barnett has caught on his ranch.
I'd say the last 6 months, at least 1,000. Pardon me? About 1,000. 1,000 illegal immigrants? Yes. On your property? On my property, yes.
So far, Barnett hasn't had to use his guns. Most of the illegals he's detained are peaceable. But he worries about armed and dangerous drug smugglers who've been caught on his land.
You prepared to take that gun and fire on one of these people? That's right, yes. Yes, I am. If I've got to shoot somebody, I will, to save my own life.
Local ranchers are so angry, some have formed their own group called the Concerned Citizens.
How many of you are now carrying guns to protect your property? All of you.
Everybody I know.
They say the federal government has let them down.
We don't have no protection. The only protection there's going to be is if we protect ourselves.
This is my country, and I'm not going to take it in my backyard and have somebody whip on me. And if I've got a gun, by golly, then that's where we'll stop it, right there.
Let me ask you straight out. There's an old phrase for it here in the West. Are you vigilantes?
Absolutely not.
No.
There's no vigilantism here.
But their language sure sounds tough. Larry Vance, who heads the citizens group, wrote to authorities demanding more patrols along the border. Their petition says, as this situation worsens and friction increases between citizens and invaders, violence and bloodshed will result.
Is that just talk, or do you really mean it?
I really mean it. Somebody's going to come home and find somebody in their house. There'll be a confrontation ensue, and somebody's going to get killed.
Our message is clear to all citizens throughout the country that law enforcement belongs in law enforcement hands. Don't take the law in your own hands.
Johnny Williams, who oversees Border Patrol operations in the western U.S., advises ranchers to stay calm. Right now, 300 officers are stationed in Douglas, and there are plans to add more. But he admits, at this point, they are understaffed.
I think the community will agree with me that the Border Patrol is doing a magnificent job within the given resources we have there now.
A magnificent job?
Within the given resources we have there now, yes.
We feel an immigrant is going to be killed.
It's not just the ranchers who are upset with the Border Patrol. So are the people who represent the migrants.
The abuses that occurred all along the border.
Isabel Garcia, who runs the Arizona Border Rights Project, says those gun-toting ranchers are violating people's civil rights.
That really is a case potentially for endangerment, assault, and potentially kidnapping if, in fact, they detain them and they move them from one place to another.
Well, wait a minute. The people in Douglas say it's the immigrants who are burglarizing their homes, who are cutting their water lines. I mean, they'd say it's precisely the immigrants who are wrecking their lives.
I understand they want to protect their property. That I do understand. But you can't use weapons, deadly force, to be able to do that.
This is clearly a dangerous game, which all sides say is headed for tragedy. We decided to take a closer look at what's happening on both sides of the border.
It's late afternoon outside Douglas, and hundreds of Mexicans are gathering about a mile from here, just on the other side of the border. They're double-checking their provisions for the trip north, coming right across this ranch. Food, plenty of water, and a few may be carrying weapons. Meanwhile, over here, local ranchers are also gearing up, getting ready for what they call the nightly invasion.
Just across the border from Douglas, Agua Prieta has doubled in size the last 5 years. The boom industry, soon to be illegal immigrants. They fill the streets, making last-minute purchases as they prepare for their tough trip. Most say they're running away from poverty. None would tell us their names.
We live in cardboard homes because we do not have money. That's why we come here. A package of corn in the city of Sinaloa costs 45 pesos, and the pay is only 35 a day.
Professional smugglers charge $600 to lead migrants across the border. They haul groups into the countryside, where they assemble, waiting for dark. One man says if he's caught, he'll just try again.
I think that we all need money, and we all have to struggle to get there to work.
As night falls, the migrants can see the lights of Douglas across the border. This group plans to head north, which will bring them onto Larry Vance's property.
You don't know whether they're bringing drugs through. You don't know whether they're smuggling people through. You don't know if it's a family unit coming through. So you never know when you're going to see them, who they are, what they're up to.
Vance searches for illegals from a 30-foot-high watchtower in his backyard.
There's no way of counting them. Some nights it might be 2 or 3. Other nights it might be 200 or 300. You don't know. The fact that you don't get any sleep and you're always worried and upset. Some people might go a little crazy over something like that.
It is important to know that while there have been break-ins, we could find no cases in the last 2 years where migrants have attacked residents. Critics say what's really driving the ranchers is prejudice against Mexicans.
There is racism. It's very prevalent.
Garcia points out that in the ranchers' petition, they call the migrants invaders.
That tells me their mindset, that these human beings who are literally starving, who want to feed their families, are being called invaders.
Invaders, that's literally what it is. It's an invasion. This is not a few people coming over here sneaking across the border. 100, 200 people at a time is not sneaking.
Is there any racism involved here?
No, that's the biggest line of hogwash I've ever heard. What is it about race that gives a man the right to sneak under my country's fence and to come onto my property and destroy it or steal it?
Vance adds that his own father came from Mexico legally. And there is some irony about what's happening in Douglas. 95% of the residents here are Hispanic. The local economy depends on Mexicans who cross the border with a visa every day. But townspeople have little sympathy for those who sneak into Douglas in the middle of the night.
They'll come in through the restaurant without permission and hide. We've caught like 15 to 20 of them hiding, and they'll tell us, "You guys are Mexicans, protect us."
The town is on edge as authorities sweep through empty houses like this one, searching for illegals. As Teresa Murray learned, not even her cyclone fence guarantees security. Recently, she spotted 2 intruders trying to pry open the bars on her window.
The one that was way back there said, "It's an old lady." And I said in Spanish, I told him, I said, "Yes, it's an old lady, but I can shoot straight. So go on."
They followed her advice and left, this time.
Truth to tell, Mrs. Murray, I mean, if they'd kept coming at you, what would you have done?
Probably shot.
Really?
Yeah. If I'm going to live here, I better know what to do. And I'm going to live here.
Recently, the Border Patrol sent 47 temporary agents to Douglas and plans to have 100 more there by January.
What do the people in Douglas do in the meantime?
Help us, work with us, and be patient.
But patience is running out. The flood of migrants keeps coming, and residents worry that even with the planned reinforcements, the Border Patrol still won't be able to protect their property, their livelihoods, and their families.
The government's not going to do what is mandated by our Constitution, then the only recourse is to provide it for ourselves. Is there any other nation in the world that treats our borders like this? I don't believe there is.
While local authorities say some crimes, such as murder and robberies, have not increased, the mayor of Douglas says the migration of illegals still has had a devastating impact on the town. As for the migrants, the armed ranchers aren't the only danger they face. Even worse is the trip through the harsh Arizona desert, where 12 have died so far this year, and another 500 have had to be rescued. We'll be right back.
Next, tipping. It's supposed to be the payoff for good service. So why do we do it when the waiter is rude or makes you do the waiting? Bill Ritter has a surprising study on the world's biggest tippers. You, when 2020 continues.
Can't do it in life? Do it on the web with the power of the Pentium 3 processor. Don't just get onto the internet. Get into it at Intel.com.
This Friday.
Kind of impatient for a big-time head shrinker, aren't you? How about you let me explain it my way, okay? Thanks, that'd be great.
Mumford is the best reviewed comedy of the fall. It's hilarious, heartwarming, terrific, delightful, perfect, outlandishly funny.
Stop.
That's all the time we have.
I have 18 more minutes.
Mumford is great therapy, a classic, a wonderful movie.
You've fallen in love with one of your patients? Doc, it's not me, is it?
Mumford, rated R, starts this Friday.
What if you could fine-tune your hair color until you got it just right? Perfect. Only new Ultress Custom Color lets you choose your shade, then adjust it with this extra tube of customizing color. Add a little or a lot till it's perfect for you. Richer browns.
Bullseye. Bullseye.
Brighter blondes.
Bingo. Bingo.
A higher definition of color.
Finally.
New Clairol Ultress.
I love it.
Ultress.
What's the question?
Hi.
Hi. Hey, what's with the makeup?
She's got a date. Not a date, it's just a group thing.
Yeah, what time's this group thing over with?
10:30.
Whoa, try again.
All right, 10 o'clock.
And don't forget what we talked about, no?
Drinking and no smoking.
Right.
And no kissing.
And no kissing.
Here, I have to go. Bye, Daddy.
Bye.
Talk to your kids about not smoking.
Hey, you want a cigarette? No, thanks.
They'll listen.
What were you talking about? My hair in color.
Introducing a radically new SUV, the new Nissan Xterra. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
ABC turns up the heat.
I'm not going to have this in my family.
I don't care what you say, I love him.
Saturday, Jennifer Lopez stars in the network television premiere of Selena. ABC, a great movie every Saturday night.
And now a story about a subject that both puzzles and annoys a lot of people, tipping. So the problem is always, how much do you give, to whom, and when?
Yeah, I'm always arguing with my husband about that. I say, how much did you give? And he'll tell me and I'll say, that's too much or that's too little. You know, to some people, calculating the tip is the least appetizing part of dining out. But does anybody really tip anyone anymore based on how good or bad the service is? Correspondent Bill Ritter is going to serve up some surprising answers about tipping, including some magical ways to make you leave a bigger tip.
It's purely extortion.
You're almost like intimidated.
Trained to brainwash.
Wait a minute. Brainwashing, intimidation, extortion? Sounds pretty drastic, especially since nobody's being held hostage here. They're just talking about leaving a tip.
Thank you. Have a good evening. I'll take that whenever you're ready.
Clearly not everybody likes it, but most folks will admit tipping is an essential part of modern life.
If you want to dance, you got to pay the band.
But whether it's a dance you want, or these days just a cup of coffee, there is pressure to tip. And like it or not, we go out to eat, the bill comes, and most of us add a hefty chunk of change for a tip. Now, if you're even slightly mathematically challenged, you probably dread this moment. Calculating a 10 or 15 or 20% tip can give you indigestion, even if the food you ate didn't. But even if you're good at math and can figure out the tip quickly, there's a more fundamental question here. Why do we tip? Do we like slapping on another 20% to the bill? And why 20% or 15 or 10? And why the waiter and not the shoe salesman? Why the doorman and not the garbage man? And why any tip at all?
Very rarely do people pay more than they have to for things, but tipping is one situation where they do. Tips aren't legally required.
Mike Lynn is a professor at the Cornell Hotel School. He studies why we tip, and these days he's trying to figure out what goes through our heads when we decide to leave one server a large tip and another a smaller one. And what he's finding out about us as customers may surprise you.
Why do you tip?
Well, I think service is the main thing why we would, exactly.
Even though people claim to base their tips on the quality of the service, the research I've done suggests that they don't really do that.
Chardonnay?
Just look at the word, tip, T-I-P. Now, while no one knows for sure, conventional wisdom has it that tip stands for to ensure promptness, T-I-P. Now, if we really wanted to ensure promptness, wouldn't it make more sense to negotiate a tip before we're served? You know, get me out of this restaurant in 25 minutes so I can make my movie, and I'll give you a 20% tip. Now, that might indeed ensure promptness. I mean, tipping after the fact doesn't guarantee anything. Instead, what Lynn has discovered is that we tip not because of service, but because of perception. Our tips reflect much more about how we want the server and others to perceive us than about the service we receive. And that's why the bigger the bill, the bigger the tip. Not because the server worked any harder, but because it makes us feel better, makes us feel like big spenders. Stiff the waiter, and it reflects badly on us, not the server.
There are times when I should probably give no tip, and I give tip anyway just because it's expected.
Now, many countries get around this expectation by including tips in the bill, but not in the United States, where gratuities are so expected, we lead the world in tipping. Nearly $11 billion a year, according to the IRS. The average restaurant gratuity is 17%. And because many of the people we tip work for minimum wage, they depend on those tips, which means they depend on us. There are, says Lynn, powerful social pressures at work here.
And if you violate social norms, you risk having the server, perhaps other people at the dining party, other dining parties, think badly of you.
But is our desire for approval really that strong? Is the main reason we tip because we're expected to, and because if we don't, people will somehow think badly of us? Well, according to the experts, yes.
Thank you.
Which means if you're a waiter or waitress, developing a good relationship with a customer may be your most important job. And smart waiters and waitresses understand this.
Coming through.
The waitress's name is Jessica, and she's working with Mike Lynn to find out whether acknowledging a customer by name influences the amount of tip they leave.
Thank you, Mr. Ellard. Have a wonderful evening.
We watched Jessica's experiment through a hidden camera, and the name game apparently pays off.
Mr. Winokur?
Yes. On average, tips increased by 2% when the customer's name was used. Calling a customer by name can help create a connection. After all, it's much easier to add a little more to a tip you were leaving anyway for a server who knows your name. Now, 2% may not sound like much, but this was just one of several tips for better tips that Lynn and his researchers have discovered.
Some of the behaviors that we've studied are things like squatting down next to the table when you first approach the table, introduce yourself, giving a large open mouth smile as opposed to a smaller closed mouth smile, writing thank you on the back of a check, eye contact, proximity are signs of liking, and increase the social rapport between the parties.
And that social rapport, say the experts, is worth a bigger tip. It's really an unconscious transaction. A little informal bonding with the waiter or waitress helps put us in a good mood.
People who are in a good mood leave better tips. For example, if it's sunny outside, people will leave a better tip.
Of course, if the studies are right, even if you're in a bad mood, chances are you're going to leave a tip. And in fact, leaving a big tip will make you think people perceive you in a better light, which will get you into a better mood.
I don't mind being ripped off in style.
So go ahead, big spender. Keep on tipping. You'll feel better about yourself. Hey, this could be cheaper than therapy.
You guys enjoy your meals.
Thank you, sir.
And just in case you're wondering, some tips on tipping. Taxi drivers, 15%.
Yeah.
Porter helps your bags at the airport, $1, $2 per bag. How about the critical question of pizza delivery?
Right. Pizza, short distances, $1 or $2, long distances, $3 or $4. And whether or not they give you anchovies or, I don't know, pepperoni.
That's all you need to know.
Okay. Another tip, we'll be right back.
A while back, when our new, larger Saturns came in, one of our customers was out of town.
Show them the back seat. Okay.
So a couple of our retailers put together a little video for him
German engineering. Nice, huh?
to show off the bigger engine and new suspension.
Feel how smooth?
And while they're not the best filmmakers,
Oh, that's what it
that
is.
customer knows a little more about our new, larger Saturn LS.
Boy, it's a big trunk. We should get a shot of that.
And a whole lot more about Saturn.
This is good stuff.
It's a new day on Wall Street.
something's happening that will forever change the investment community. Introducing a new website from National Discount Brokers. With more research and more tools to help you make smart decisions, investing will never be the same. Log on to ndb.com now.
I would love to have,
Dinner? Are you going to go out with Grace's mom?
Please don't have sex with them tonight, okay?
They just asked me if you were older than 25 or not.
ABC's Once and Again, premiering Tuesday at 10/9 Central.
So is that how old most of your dates are?
Coming up on 2020 Wednesday, the gruesome murder of 3 women on vacation at Yosemite National Park. For 5 months, the FBI follows the wrong trail in search of a killer, and then another grisly murder.
This is everyone's worst nightmare. This is the boogeyman.
A full hour devoted to one terrifying story about the quiet handyman accused of being a serial killer. That's on 2020 Wednesday at 10/9 Central.
And Jack, on a much nicer note, we have a special invitation for all of you. As you may know, Hugh Downs is leaving 2020 after 21 years. And this Friday night, his last program, we're going to send him off with a special 2020. You'll see Hugh in all his incarnations, 60 years in the broadcasting business. And we promise you, you'll learn things about Hugh that you never knew before, as Barbara does one of her signature interviews with Hugh. Join us as we mark the culmination of Hugh Downs' extraordinary run on 2020. Friday night at 10/9 Central. And that's 2020 for tonight. Thanks for joining us. I'm Connie Chung.
And I'm Jack Ford. Connie and I will see you next Monday. Have a good night and a good week.
Good night.
More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source.
Wake up at the crossroads of America.
Come on over to Good Morning America at Times Square.
ABC is America's broadcasting company, home of America's most respected journalists.
You can get them with a good story. We're not historians, we're journalists.
Unparalleled strength.
Polls have shown that this country would accept registration of firearms. You want to have an honest conversation? Let's have an honest conversation.
Exclusive interviews, seamless reporting from broadcast to broadcast.
There's always a place for original reporting.
It's why more Americans get their news from ABC News. ABC News, part of America's broadcasting company.
In Vancouver, a family waits for news of loved ones. Hundreds are dead in an earthquake in Taiwan. Good evening, I'm Kathy Marshall.
And I'm John Marlowe. Also tonight, a family tragedy in Kelso. A child is dead. Police say she was the victim of abuse.
The Flying Mile. Race fans gather at Daytona's Flying Mile.
Winning Daytona shows that the 300 is a spirited, full-blooded automobile.
Chrysler 300M, born like its ancestors with the most horsepower in its class.
She's a regular firecracker.
And now, Motor Trend 1999 Car of the Year.
See your local Northwest Chrysler and Plymouth dealer.
Who's gonna be there for you? Who's gonna help you find it? Who's gonna be the one you turn to when you're in doubt? It's to you I turn to when I need to learn to. Where to go in my hometown? Where to go in my home? I turn to you. U.S. West Decks.
Everything we do affects everything around us, which is why it's so important to take care of Oregon's forests, to protect our streams and replant trees. Oregon forest and wildlife protection laws already require replanting and stream protection, and scientists are helping us find new ways to do an even better job. Because we depend on our forests for all kinds of things, including inspiration. Find out for yourself. Rediscover Oregon's forests.
It's 11 o'clock, time for a weather check. It's been a gorgeous day across the area. There have been some clouds along the coastline. That will continue tomorrow, but look for another sunny day. Weather details coming up on Channel 2 News at 11. Next.
This is KATU, the power of 2000. Now, Channel 2 News.
It's the strongest earthquake Taiwan has seen in 60 years. Tonight, hundreds are dead, and the search is on for survivors. Good evening. I'm Kathy Marshall.
And I'm John Marler. American rescue specialists are headed to Taiwan to help with the recovery. The 7.6 earthquake was centered about 90 miles from the capital city of Taipei. The death toll tonight is more than 600. 3,000 others are reported injured. It may be the strongest earthquake ever to hit Taiwan. Idaho's governor is among the survivors. He was asleep in a hotel when the ground began to shake.
Initially, you just began to feel a vibration. It then built into a swaying. Have been through some earthquakes, but this was absolutely violent. There was a moment that I wondered if we weren't all finished.
The governor was not hurt because of the severity of the earthquake. A tsunami warning has been issued for other Asian islands, including the Philippines and Japan. There are an estimated 400 people from Taiwan living in Portland and Vancouver. Many came here to attend college and then stayed.
Sheila Hamilton talks with a Vancouver family about the disaster in Taiwan and the difficulty of being thousands of miles away when tragedy strikes.
It is business as usual at Peking Garden. The windows are spotless, and each dish is made piping hot in Taiwanese tradition. But Joe Cho and his family have a lot more than good food on their minds.
I got a phone call from a friend of us, and she said, "Oh, I know you from Taiwan. I just watching the TV, and Taiwan have a 6.7 earthquake."
The earthquake was actually 7.6, devastating the town of Nantou, where Grace Cho's parents live.
Yeah, I tried to call to Taipei. I have one brother over there, or call my younger brother.
As in any disaster, communication is difficult to impossible. The Chos are relying on friends in Los Angeles to relay information they're getting from Taiwan.
We get about 7 or 8 phone calls from 4 different friends.
That's my mommy's mom. And that's my mommy's dad.
The Chos were planning a trip to Taiwan next summer so that Judy and Alec could see their grandparents.
So they're okay? Yeah. And they don't get hurt? Right. And their house doesn't fall?
The Chos realize Taiwan may be a very different place to visit next summer, and they're praying their loved ones have escaped injury.
The Chos say many of the main roads around Nantou and Taichung are destroyed, limiting nearby relatives' attempts to reach Grace's parents. Joe Cho was able to confirm tonight that his parents escaped injury. John, Kathy?
At least that part of it has to be a great relief to the family.
It certainly does.
Sheila, thank you.
There have been a number of deadly earthquakes this summer. A week ago today, a 5.8 earthquake hit Turkey, killing at least 6 people and injuring more than 400. On September 7th, a 5.9 quake rocked Greece. 139 people were killed there. The deadliest earthquake of the summer hit Turkey on August 17th. The 7.2 quake left more than 15,500 people dead and thousands more homeless. Even though the earthquake hit thousands of miles away, folks here have been concerned about the possibility of a tsunami hitting the Oregon coast. Officials at the West Coast and Alaska Tsunami Warning Center say there is no watch or warning in effect for the West Coast.
In Kelso, relatives are trying to find out why no one stepped in to save a girl police say died at the hands of her father's girlfriend. 4-year-old Jennifer Kell died Thursday. Police records say Tammy Matarash put the child in the bathtub and admitted repeatedly throwing water on her face. Police say Matarash quit when the girl pleaded with her to stop. The child died from related injuries. Relatives say they want to know why other family members and welfare workers hadn't stepped in.
This kid was tortured. She was literally tortured for probably the last 3 years of her life. And CPS had been called at least 5 times that I know of, and nobody would do anything about it.
Welfare workers in Washington state say they didn't step in because they didn't believe the child's life was at risk. Welfare workers here in Oregon, where the family recently lived, said they can't comment on the case until the investigation ends.
With his trial scheduled to start next week, attorneys for school shooting suspect Kip Kinkle are fighting to keep tape recordings of his meetings with jailhouse visitors private. Defense attorneys say the tapes were made to gather evidence against Kinkle. Prosecutors contend Kinkle knew the tapes were being made. Kinkle is accused of killing his parents and 2 classmates. 3 people have been charged for an underage keg party that left a teen in critical condition. Matthew Phipps was hurt after going to the party in Washington County on August 14th. He is still in the hospital and is now listed in fair condition. 23-year-old Ryan Miller of Forest Grove and 21-year-old Jason Schilling of Hillsborough have been charged with providing liquor to a minor. A 16-year-old Portland boy is facing the same charges.
The search is on tonight for the dog who attacked and dragged a teenager. After the dog inflicted the wounds, the Rottweiler and the dog's owner fled. Details tonight from Elizabeth Bermudez.
13-year-old Ryan Murphy and his classmates aren't scared or fearful as they return to the scene of last week's dog attack.
Seems like he bit me and then pulled me down, but then he let go.
What is scary are the marks left behind on Ryan's left side of his chest, the 2 teeth marks of a Rottweiler covered with stitches.
I was on the ground. I was really scared, and it hurt really bad. I didn't know if it was going to let go or what would happen after that.
Ryan and his buddies say the attack happened in a matter of seconds. One moment they were identifying trees in this wooded area of Fowler Middle School, and the next moment they were trying to keep their distance from a woman and her leashed dog.
Andrew says, well, it's a really big dog, and Brian had told me that he never really liked those that much to begin with, so he walked around it.
But as the boys got about a foot past the dog, it lunged for Ryan, biting him in the chest and dragging him to the ground.
It was shocking. Like, it happened so fast. It was really weird. I've never seen, like, blood like that much at one time before.
Ryan's dog bite is healing just fine and hopes personal healing will begin soon, too, but says someone has to step forward before that can happen.
I don't think it was right for her just to leave instead of at least trying to help me or anything.
In the meantime, Ryan says he'll be watching his step, making sure to stay well out of the path of Rottweilers. In Tigard, Elizabeth Bermudez, Channel 2 News.
Animal control officials tell us they believe the dog owner lives near Fowler Middle School in Tigard. She's described as about 5'2", with a stocky build and shoulder-length brown hair. She was wearing black pants or leggings and a pink shirt. Anyone with information is asked to call Animal Control at 681-7110.
Recently, it was Otis, Oregon. Now another Lincoln County landmark is up for sale. Whale Cove will be auctioned off in November. For a minimum bid of $2.2 million, you can get 25 acres of property bordering the cove and the Pacific Ocean. Now, here's a piece of history about the land. During Prohibition, the cove also was a haven for bootlegging operations.
Still ahead on Channel 2 News at 11.
The best home savings of the year are coming to Portland Meadows this Thursday through Sunday. Shop and compare 25 fully furnished and landscaped homes. Live in affordable comfort. 18 regional retailers offer special show pricing. 13 builders will help you customize your floor plan with plush upgrades. Quality lenders can arrange traditional mortgage loans if the home and land are financed together. You'll find value, quality, and savings this week. Free parking and discount tickets for Thursday and Friday in the Oregonian.
Spend an evening with Mel Brooks and Carl Reiner, October 5th. Call Fastix.
As big as Texas, the address is CBS.